Some murders are really scary, but others are even scarier. These were super brutal and shocked everyone. The police couldn't figure them out, and nobody got caught or suspected for a long time, leaving many unanswered questions. Now, let's take a look at some murder mysteries that nobody has solved yet, and they've surprised everyone. Jack the Ripper. Back in 1888, in the misty and dark streets of the East End of London, also known as the Whitechapel district, a notorious serial killer named Jack the Ripper emerged. The Whitechapel district was already known for its violence and crime, but Jack the Ripper's series of murders caused unparalleled terror. Described as a madman with no clear motive, Jack the Ripper targeted women, particularly prostitutes, in a string of killings that shocked the public. The most famous murders, known as the Canonical Five, involved 5 women, all prostitutes, and occurred within a mile of each other from August 7 to September 10, 1888. While these are the most well-known, some theories suggest Jack the Ripper may have been responsible for up to 11 women's deaths. Around the same time, other murders were also investigated as potentially linked to the killer, often referred to as Leather Apron. The killer allegedly sent letters to the London Metropolitan Police Service, commonly known as Scotland Yard, boasting about the gruesome activities and predicting more murders. The name Jack the Ripper originated from one of these letters, famously known as the From Hell letter, published during the time of the attacks. Despite numerous investigations and claims of definitive evidence regarding the killer's identity, the true name and motive of Jack the Ripper remain unknown to this day. The strange disappearance of D.B. Cooper. On November 24, 1971, a man named Daniel Cooper purchased a one-way ticket for $20 on Northwest Airlines Flight 305 from Portland, Oregon to Seattle, Washington. Cooper, described as in his mid-40s, wore a business suit, overcoat, brown shoes, a white shirt, and a black tie. He carried a briefcase and a brown paper bag. Before takeoff, Cooper ordered a bourbon and soda and handed a note to a flight attendant. Initially, she ignored it, but Cooper insisted, revealing he had a bomb in his briefcase. He asked her to sit beside him and open the briefcase, showing red sticks surrounded by wires. Cooper instructed the flight attendant to write down his demands: $200,000 in cash, delivered by 5 p.m. in $20 bills, along with 4 parachutes. He warned against any tricks. The FBI gathered the ransom money, and the parachutes were obtained from a local skydiving school. Around 8 p.m., between Seattle and Reno, Cooper parachuted out of the plane with 2 parachutes and the money. He vanished without a trace. Despite extensive efforts and over 45 years of searching, the man's identity and fate after the jump remain unknown. The case is considered one of the greatest cold cases in FBI and U.S. history. The body on Somerton Beach. In December 1948, a man's body was discovered on Somerton Beach in Adelaide, Australia. He was well dressed in a suit, had polished shoes, but no identification. Authorities initially thought he died from heart failure or poisoning, but no poison was found during the autopsy. There were no clues about his identity. No wallet. Tags were cut from his clothes and fingerprints were unidentifiable. After 4 months, a hidden pocket in his trousers revealed a scrap of paper from a rare book called the Rubaiyat, with the words "Tamam Shud," meaning it has ended. The code remains unsolved, and the Somerton man's identity remains a mystery to this day. The disturbing death of Elisa Lam. On January 26, 2013, a 21-year-old Canadian tourist named Elisa Lam checked into the Cecil Hotel in downtown Los Angeles. However, she never checked out, and her parents couldn't reach her. The police were informed, and after 18 days of being missing, Liam's body was discovered in a water tank on the hotel's roof. Guests had complained about strange, tasting water. The mystery deepens because it's unclear how Lam got to the roof, climbed into the water tank, and closed the heavy lid by herself. To this day, nobody knows what really happened to Elisa Lam. The case of JonBenet Ramsey. On December 26, 1996, in Boulder, Colorado, Patsy Ramsey found a ransom note for her 6-year-old daughter, JonBenet Ramsey, on the back staircase of their home. She called the police at 5:52 a.m. to report JonBenet missing. Only John Ramsey, her father, Patsy, and her brother Burke were in the house. Surprisingly, less than 8 hours later, JonBenet's body was discovered in the basement utility room by John. Duct tape covered her mouth, and a cord was around her neck. The crime scene was thought to be compromised as many people had entered the house before the police arrived. The police didn't search the house initially, assuming JonBenet wasn't there. JonBenet was a well-known child beauty queen who had won several competitions. Her death was ruled a homicide, citing asphyxia by strangulation associated with craniocerebral trauma in the autopsy report. The case gained national attention due to JonBenet's beauty queen status and her mother being a former beauty queen. Today, the case remains unsolved and is still an open investigation with the Boulder Police Department. The Zodiac Killer. In the late 1960s and early 1970s, there was a scary person called the Zodiac Killer who did bad things in Northern California. He hurt at least 5 people, but later he said he hurt 30. 7 in total. First, on December 20, 1968, 2 young people, David Faraday and Betty Lou Jensen, were sitting in a car in Vallejo. The Zodiac Killer shot and killed them. David was alive when the police came, but he died on the way to the hospital. The Zodiac Killer struck again on July 4, 1969, near the first crime. He killed Darlene Ferrin and hurt Michael Mageau. Michael survived and described the killer to the police. Soon after, the police got a call from someone claiming to be the killer. On August 1, 1969, newspapers got a letter from the Zodiac Killer. It had details about the killings and a symbol, a circle with a cross. The killer sent codes saying they could reveal his identity. He called himself the Zodiac. Another letter on August 4 started with "This is the Zodiac speaking." A couple cracked the codes, and they talked about the killer liking to hurt people. The Zodiac wrote more letters, killed more people, and on January 29, 1974, he wrote his last letter, saying he hurt 37 people, and the police couldn't catch him. The Zodiac Killer's real name is still unknown.